If you're thinking about selling your home this spring, one mistake in the first 2 weeks could cost you thousands. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 10 most important things to do before you list, so that doesn't happen to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dennis Day with my co-host Judy Gratton, and we are the Edge Group team powered by eXp Realty. And welcome to Getting Your Edge, how to downsize your home. If you're thinking about selling this spring, April, May, or June, you are absolutely looking at one of the strongest windows of opportunity in our local market here in King County, Snohomish County, and the Seattle area. Spring buyers are motivated. They've been watching the inventory all winter. They're ready to move before the summer. But here's the truth. The homes that win in the spring market are the homes that prepare. The spring is when sellers get top dollar. Today, I'm sharing the 10 most important things you can do right now to get your home ready for sale, especially if you're... All right. 10 smart steps to selling your home in the spring market.
All right, let's dive in. So number one, the very first thing that you have to consider is you have to make a strategic plan, not just a to-do list. Before you pick up a paintbrush, before you pack a box, you need to have a plan. And so the first thing you need to consider is your timing. Where are you going? When do you want to get there? Where are you moving? We just talked about that. What repairs you actually need to do and which ones you maybe don't need to do. We've run into that a lot where people will actually, I'm going to put in brand new quartz countertops. And it's like, why? You're not going to be here anymore. And you may not recoup the dollars that you spend on those countertops. It all depends on the market and what's going on in the market and what else needs to be done in your home. So every dollar you spend should have some sort of a return to it. And this is where we as realtors sit down with you, make that strategic plan. And with that, your home should sell successfully.
Okay, number two. Number two, declutter, but do it with a purpose. Spring buyers want space. They want light. They want to feel the possibility of living in this home. Start removing excess furniture, collections, paper piles, personal items. If you're downsizing, this is also a beginning of your transition. You need to start early. It reduces your stress later. And remember, you're not erasing your life. You're preparing for the next chapter.
Amen. So now, number 3, you are going to deep clean like you have never cleaned this home before. I've always told sellers that cleanliness really shows potential buyers that you care about your home. And so you want to have the carpets cleaned professionally. You want to have the floors cleaned. You want to wash windows inside and out, and that includes cleaning the screens and where open the windows and clean those areas where they slide back and forth, the rungs. I know my house collects all kinds of very interesting little critters and growth in those areas. So make sure to clean that. Scrub the baseboards. Make sure there aren't fingerprints all over when people are entering a room or around a light switch or on a door. Clean light fixtures. That's a great place to find all those little buggies that have died and used it as a graveyard. So a sparkling home really photographs much better than one that isn't. And one of the things that you really need to be aware of while you're cleaning, and you might want to have someone else come in and help you with this and tell them to be honest, are there any odors? If you have animals, there could be odors that you've grown used to and don't smell. If you smoked in the house, that's going to be an issue that you're definitely going to want to figure out a way to take care of. So also address the odors in the house at the same time, because that can turn people off quicker than anything, and you won't get top dollar if there are bad odors in your home. And you can't mask them up with deodorizers or scented candles. People can smell through it or wonder what you're trying to hide. So clean makes for great photographs. Make sure it smells well, and go from there.
Judy, we've already talked about this, but a little bit. You need to handle some small repairs. Buyers notice the deferred maintenance. So you need to fix things like the dripping faucets, the loose door handles, the running toilets, the cracked outlet covers, squeaky hinges. Small things can create big doubt in a buyer's mind. We often walk through homes that our sellers and with our sellers, and we create a short, smart repair list. Nothing overwhelming, nothing that's going to set you back financially, just high impact fixes.
And sometimes, Dennis, this is a place where you can do like not just repairs, but minor upgrades like faucets, light fixtures, door hinges, doorknobs, because those tend to look old and grungy after a period of time. And by simply replacing those, cabinet handles, things like that, it can make a big difference on what your home looks like. So now let's go to number 5. And that is, we are going to want fresh, neutral paint. And so if you're like me, my children wanted pink rooms, turquoise rooms, my grandchildren want purple rooms. I've seen black rooms, and honestly, I have to admit my room is dark gray. But I know that when it's time to sell, I need to paint this back myself to a neutral color. It gives buyers the ability to plan for their own spaces. And it also, if it's a color that really turns someone off and they come in a house and they see a dark gray room like mine and they hate gray, I may have lost a buyer over that. So neutral paint, that means a soft, natural white, nothing stark, a natural light warm tone beige, or like a very light gray, something along those lines. And even if you've recently done that, the smell of fresh paint, people like that when they walk into a home. It makes them, again, feel like you've taken care of the home and this home is ready to be purchased. So it'll make the home look larger if the rooms are brighter, and buyers can actually picture themselves in the home.
All right, it's curb appeal. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and you need to do it in your yard. When people drive up, they make a big decision. Am I going to continue and go on and look inside the house, or am I going to just drive away? April through June is curb appeal season. This means that fresh mulched, trimmed shrubs, clean, power washed walkways, potted flowers near the entry, fresh painted door if needed. A front yard creates the first emotional reaction. We want to say this home has been loved.
And I would make a special effort again to look at that front door entry area and look at your doorknob, look at the paint on the front door. If you have a kick plate, is it covered with splash marks? You may want to replace that. You may want to replace the doorknob, and always, always, always put a brand new welcome mat in front of the door, something that's attractive and not too busy. And it just, again, it draws people into the house.
Okay. Let the light in. Fortunately, the longer days are coming up, and it's a gift for the spring market. Use it. Remove the heavy drapes. Clean the window screens. We talked about the windows inside and out, but the window screens as well. Replace burned out bulbs. Upgrade to bright, warm LED lighting. Buyers associate light with happiness and cleanliness. It changes everything. You want to have a wide open, lovely, spacious home. People are drawn to the light, and when they see that, they feel like I can live there. I'm ready.
Okay, so the next step is strategic staging. And that's very important because we really want to tell a story about this home and give people the ideas to dream about what it would be like to live in this home. So we talked about decluttering, taking your personal items, putting those away. And now it's about moving furniture around. Again, maybe getting rid of even more furniture out of the room. That doesn't mean you have to give it away, but making conversation areas, giving people an idea, like a couple of coffee cups set strategically on a kitchen counter with a folded newspaper gives you the idea of, oh, yeah, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, I could read the paper. Or maybe a set of reading glasses on an end table, and don't make them the ones you really need, and a strategically placed, nice folded throw over the arm of the chair. A relatively easy thing to do is we have a tendency to push our furniture up against the walls to have more room to walk around. If you just pull it in 6 inches, it makes a huge difference. So do that and or create conversation areas. If you have a couple of chairs and or 2 couches, maybe have them face each other if possible instead of everything faced towards a television set so that you can see that people have the opportunity to, or generally they will not stage a home that someone lives in because they don't want their pieces used. And even if they do, this has become a very expensive option, starting at around $3,000 to do some of the rooms. And then after a 30-day period, they charge rent every month on the furniture. So that is something that you can consider if you want to. We will, in our company, pay for what's called digital staging. And that is actually done as production in the photographs after the fact. We do that frequently in vacant homes, and to give some idea of what the home would look like. Or it can actually, you can have pieces of furniture removed and replaced in the photograph. And of course, we would always disclose that in the listing so people aren't surprised when they come in. But that is really important to tell a story with your home if you can, and staging helps dramatically.
All right, Judy, we're going to talk about the pre-listing inspection. Now,
Yes.
5 years ago, homes were on the market for days, a few days, maybe a
Or
week
less.
or less, right? You go into the home at an open house and it's already been sold. Anyways, the pre-listing inspection was a tool that sellers would use to help buyers get peace of mind and make that offer instantly. However, the markets change. The average day in King County right now is about 44 days on the market. The pre-list inspection has good and bad ideas. One, it's about $500 that comes out of pocket. It does prevent you from getting surprised. Say if a buyer puts an offer on and then they have an inspection and then bango, you're with a big problem that has to be negotiated. So the pre-listing isn't as important to get that quick sale, but it does come in a competitive spring market. Surprises can cost you. Some sellers choose to do a pre-inspection so they can fix issues that are a problem ahead of time and not be surprised. They can price their home appropriately, and they can avoid the renegotiation drama that comes after an inspection by the buyer. It's not 2022 anymore. The days are on the more. Homes are sitting much longer.
And so that's how crazy that market was at that time. And that's why that pre-inspection became a tool that made it. And it wasn't that buyers couldn't still say they wanted to do their own inspection, but if they were willing to waive it because there was one already there, it made their offer stronger. And that was a tool that really did help things work out that way. But the cost is a downside for the seller. And also, they may find, like you said, those items that absolutely are going to need to be repaired or replaced. And in an inspection, I always tell my buyers and sellers it is the structural and the safety items that we're looking for that might need to be taken care of. And so waiting and letting the buyer do that, there's a risk that you'll still find those things. And like you said, be stuck having to either negotiate or fix them.
Okay. Let's go to
Yeah.
number 10. All right.
Yes. And price it right from day one. And this is really a big one. And the spring market is very active, but it will also become more competitive. There are more buyers out there and there are more sellers out there. So overpricing to see what happens can backfire very quickly. There is what we refer to as a backlog of buyers. These are people that have been looking, and they're all going to come in that really first week, max 2 weeks to see your home. And once they're through, if no one found your home interesting, then you have to wait for the next few people to think about buying a home. And that's really a much more serious thing in the market that we're in today. So, and buyers have access to all the tools. They can go onto Zillow, they can go onto Redfin, they can look at the tax records, they can come up with what they consider to be a fair market value on your home. And if you are overpriced, they may not even come to see it. So the market's changed over the years, and how the access buyers had to that kind of information didn't used to exist, but it does now. And so you want to look like a good value. And if you're overpriced, you're not, and you'll miss out, and you'll be on the market longer. And in the end, data has shown that people that overpriced in the beginning end up getting less than they might have had they looked like a good value in the beginning. And so what we do is we really analyze those recent comparables, not something that sold 5 years ago, and it's not going to be what your neighbor told you their home sold for. It's going to be the actual sales price based on the data that we have access to. And then we're going to look at your active competition. Who's out there? What does the home look like based, compared to yours? And what is their pricing? And then market trends based on, the interest rates and the economy and the employment. All those things come into play to make a decision on a reasonable, value-driven price for your home.
Judy, we said 10 steps. Well, I've got a bonus for you. Timing your launch is critical too. If you're targeting April through June, preparation should begin right now. March, declutter. Early April, repairs and paint. Late April, professional photos, staging. Early May, launch time. Spring buyers move fast. Being ready early gives you the advantage. And remember, the spring market is where sellers get the most money.
And here's just another thought, a little note for those that are downsizing. When you are moving from the home where you raised your family, had your career, did all these things, and you're looking for a simpler life maybe, or a new horizon to go and explore, this not only do you have to do all of these things, but you need to realize that you're transitioning your life, and it's an emotional event as well. So you need to be practical, but you need to give yourself the time and the space to do it in such a fashion that it's not heartbreaking. We run into it a lot where people never got it done, and then they're forced to move to a place they really don't want to because of their health or whatever. And so we encourage you to really start planning ahead of time if you're downsizing. Try and make it an exciting next chapter in your life, and realize that there's going to be some emotional ups and downs throughout that. And again, as realtors, that's what we're there to help you
Right, if you're even thinking about selling this spring in Seattle, King County, Snohomish County area, and beyond, we offer a no pressure strategy session where we walk through your home, discuss the timing that benefits you, create a customized prep plan, help you understand the current home's value and the current market. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe to Getting Your Edge, How to Downsize Your Home. Thanks for listening, and remember to share, like, subscribe, and when you plan well and prepare wisely and price strategically, you can truly get your ed in this spring market.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.